Have you ever felt like maintaining friendships just isn't as important as it used to be? Like the effort to keep up, stay in touch, and make plans feels more exhausting than fulfilling? You try to keep in touch, but conversations feel forced. You send messages that get ignored for days. You make plans, only for them to be canceled at the last minute. And deep down, you start to wonder, is it even worth it anymore? At this stage in life, friendships should bring joy, not pressure. But instead of feeling connected, you feel drained. Instead of meaningful conversations, there's small talk and obligation. And here's the hard truth. Not all friendships are meant to last forever. Think about it. How much time, energy, and even emotional stress do you spend trying to maintain relationships that no longer add real value to your life? You say yes to plans you don't enjoy because you feel guilty. You listen to the same complaints, the same gossip, and wonder why it doesn't make you happy anymore. You keep holding on because you're afraid of what it means to let go. But what if I told you that letting go of friendships after 70 might actually be the key to a happier, more peaceful life? In this video, we'll explore 6 surprising reasons why stepping back from friendships that no longer serve you can bring you more peace, happiness, and freedom. And make sure to stick around until the end, because the last reason might completely change how you see your later years. Have you noticed your priorities shifting after 70? Comment below and share your experience. And if you find this helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on senior living and happiness. Reason number 1. You no longer need social validation. Have you ever looked back and realized how much time you spent trying to fit in? Seeking approval, keeping up appearances, making sure you were included? Robert spent decades surrounded by people. At work, he had colleagues who always invited him for lunch. His weekends were filled with social gatherings, small talk, and catching up with old friends. Being liked made him feel important. But after retirement, things changed. The invitations stopped. The phone calls slowed. The people who once seemed close drifted away. At first he thought, maybe I need to reach out more. But over time, he realized the truth. Most of these friendships were built on convenience, not real connection. For years, Robert had relied on social validation to feel valued. He measured his worth by how many people wanted to be around him. But now, standing in the quiet of his home, he faced a different reality. His worth was never about them. And when he finally let go of the need for approval, something amazing happened. He started spending time on what truly mattered to him. He pursued hobbies, not to impress anyone, but because they made him happy. He stopped forcing conversations that no longer felt meaningful. He learned to enjoy his own company. And for the first time in his life, Robert felt at peace. Because after 70, you no longer need to be validated by others. You are enough. Have you ever experienced this shift in your life? Comment below and share your thoughts. And that brings us to the next reason, why peace becomes more valuable than socializing. Let's talk about it. Reason number 2, peace becomes more valuable than socializing. There was a time when Margaret's calendar was always full. Lunches with friends, social gatherings, phone calls that lasted for hours. Her days were packed with conversation, laughter, and plans. She believed that staying social was the key to happiness, that being surrounded by people meant she was living life to the fullest. But as the years went by, something shifted. The endless chatting started to feel exhausting. The meetups that once brought joy became more of an obligation. She noticed that many conversations were filled with gossip, complaints, or just noise, words spoken out of habit rather than real connection. One evening, After yet another long phone call that drained her energy, she sat in her favorite chair and listened to the silence around her. And for the first time, she felt peace. She realized that she didn't need to constantly engage with others to feel fulfilled. She didn't have to fill every empty space with conversation. In fact, true happiness came from moments of quiet, from choosing what truly added value to her life instead of keeping up with social expectations. Now, Margaret spends her time differently. She enjoys peaceful mornings with a cup of tea and a book. She takes long walks, appreciating the world around her without distractions. She connects with people when she wants to, not because she has to. And in doing so, she has never felt more at ease. Because after 70, peace is no longer something to avoid, it's something to embrace. Do you find peace more valuable than socializing now? Comment 2 below. And that brings us to the next reason. Why having fewer friendships can actually mean fewer disappointments. Let's talk about it. Reason number 3. Fewer friendships mean fewer disappointments. There was a time when William believed that friendships were meant to last forever. He held on to relationships, even when they no longer felt the same. He was always the one reaching out, making the plans, keeping the connections alive. But as the years passed, people drifted away. Friends who once called regularly became distant. Some only reached out when they needed something. Others disappeared without explanation. At first, William felt hurt. He wondered if he had done something wrong. He questioned why some friendships faded despite all his efforts. But then, he realized something important. Not all relationships are meant to last, and that's okay. Friendships, just like people, change over time. Clinging to those that no longer bring joy only leads to disappointment. The more William tried to force connections that had run their course, the more exhausted he felt. So he made a choice. Instead of chasing after friendships that were slipping away, he focused on the ones that truly mattered. The people who called to check on him. The ones who showed up even when life got busy. The friends who made him feel valued, not just when it was convenient for them. And in letting go of forced relationships, William felt a weight lift off his shoulders. Because having fewer friendships doesn't mean being lonely. It means making space for the right ones. Have you ever let go of a friendship that no longer felt right? Share your story in the comments below. And now, let's talk about another powerful realization. Why your time is more precious than ever. Reason number 4. Your time becomes more precious. When Richard was younger, he never thought much about time. There was always another meeting, another dinner, another gathering. He spent years filling his calendar with social events, small talk, and obligations that he didn't always enjoy. But after turning 70, something changed. One day, he sat at a cafe with an old acquaintance, listening to yet another repetitive story, nodding along out of politeness. As he stirred his coffee, a thought hit him. Is this really how I want to spend my time? For so long, he had been saying yes to everything, every invitation, every favor, every social event, because that's what he had always done. But now he realized that time wasn't something he could waste anymore. It was his most precious asset. So Richard made a choice. Instead of spending hours in conversations that didn't add value, he started investing his time in what truly mattered. He picked up painting again, something he hadn't done in years. He took long morning walks, enjoying the quiet beauty of nature. He spent more time with people who uplifted him, rather than those who drained his energy. And for the first time, he felt truly fulfilled. Because at this stage in life, time isn't just time, it's life itself. Have you started prioritizing your time differently after 70? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this message resonates with you, make sure to subscribe for more insights on living a fulfilling life after 70. And don't go anywhere, because the final reason might reveal a truth you've never considered before. Stay tuned. Reason number 5. True companionship comes from within. Martha used to believe that happiness came from being surrounded by others. She filled her days with coffee dates, phone calls, and social outings, afraid that too much time alone meant she was lonely. But over time, she started to notice something. Despite always being with people, she often felt exhausted. The conversations sometimes felt repetitive, the outings more like obligations than moments of joy. And then, one evening, as she sat alone on her porch watching the sunset, something unexpected happened. She felt at peace. For the first time, she wasn't rushing to make a call or planning her next social event. She simply sat with herself, in complete stillness. And in that moment, she realized a truth she had overlooked for years. Companionship doesn't just come from others. It comes from within. She began embracing solitude, not as something to fear, but as something to enjoy. She read books that expanded her mind. She went for walks where she could think freely. She found joy in simple moments, drinking tea in the morning, journaling her thoughts, sitting in quiet reflection. And surprisingly, she felt happier than she had in years. Because real companionship isn't about always having people around. It's about being content with yourself. Have you learned to enjoy your own company? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on creating a fulfilling life after 70. And now, let's talk about the final and perhaps most powerful reason why letting go of friendships can open the door to something even greater. James spent years holding on to friendships that no longer felt the same. He stayed in touch with people out of habit, attended gatherings out of obligation, and kept conversations going just to avoid the discomfort of drifting apart. But deep down, he felt it. These relationships were no longer adding value to his life. One day, after yet another lunch where he listened more than he spoke, where the conversation revolved around gossip and complaints, James asked himself a question: do I actually enjoy this? And the honest answer was no. So he made a choice. James stopped forcing connections that felt one-sided. He let go of the guilt that came with distancing himself from certain people. He gave himself permission to prioritize peace over obligation. And something incredible happened. With fewer social pressures, his life became simpler, lighter. He spent time doing what he truly loved: gardening, reading, exploring new hobbies. The space once filled with unfulfilling relationships was now open for deeper, more meaningful experiences. And for the first time, he felt free. Because happiness doesn't come from how many friends you have, it comes from how you live your life. Have you ever let go of a relationship and felt happier because of it? Comment 6 below. And now let's wrap up with one final thought. Why true respect comes from how you carry yourself, not from the number of people around you. For years, you may have spent your time maintaining friendships that no longer brought you joy. You answered calls out of obligation. You attended gatherings that left you drained. You held on to relationships not because they fulfilled you, but because you felt you had to. And what did it cost? Your energy, your peace, your time, the most valuable thing you have. Friendships after 70 shouldn't feel like a burden. They should bring comfort, not pressure. But too often, we hold on to connections that no longer serve us, afraid of what it means to let go. Think about how much time has been wasted on meaningless small talk, forced interactions, and one-sided relationships. Imagine what life could feel like if you only surrounded yourself with people who truly matter, those who respect, uplift, and genuinely care for you. Letting go isn't about choosing loneliness. It's about choosing quality over quantity. It's about reclaiming your time and focusing on what truly makes you happy. And here's the truth. You don't need a large circle of friends to be fulfilled. You just need the right ones. Friendships after 70 are not a necessity, but a choice. And choosing peace and independence can be the most liberating decision you ever make. So take a moment to reflect. Which of these 6 reasons resonated with you the most? Comment below and share your thoughts. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on senior living and happiness. Your time is precious. Spend it wisely.